And happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to Woodbine Racing Live. Elisa Blow alongside Jeff Bratt as we get set for 11 races in total, including the Overskate, which will go as race number 8 on today's program. Now, last night, of course, we were up fairly late. I think we both decided to kind of pack it in around 10 o'clock.
3-1, we were like,
Yeah.
I texted you, I said, I'm going to listen on the radio. You're like, I'm calling into bed, I'll watch on TV.
Exactly. You know what was the funniest thing, too, about last night?
Colonel Sanders?
Exactly. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off of the guy. Now, there was a man behind home plate dressed like the Colonel Sanders.
With a Mary Brown's Chicken advertisement right below him.
Exactly. And then I was looking it up, and I guess there is this curse of the Colonel for pitchers.
Right.
Because I found it distracting, and I was just watching the game.
But the funny thing is, both pitchers pitched very well.
Oh, yes.
Just the Dodger one was better.
Absolutely. And we knew they were going to come out last night and show us why they've made it to the World Series as well. So now they're heading down to California. They get, what, today off? Tomorrow is...
So today off, and then they play, tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
3 days in a row.
Tomorrow, Monday. Okay, 8 o'clock again for us?
8 o'clock,
Okay, I'm okay with that because we don't have to go anywhere on Tuesday morning.
True.
So that's all right with me. So here we go with 11 races for you this afternoon here from Toronto. We're on the turf. Turf is listed as good. It's going to be very similar to what it was yesterday.
Yeah. I found that some horses didn't handle it all that well yesterday.
Yeah, it's got some give to it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
There was some that kind of spun their wheels a little bit, but as we say at this time of the year, this is bonus time to be on the turf, and this might be our final turf stake raake of the season, I would think.
Has to be, yeah.
And what a field we have assembled in this one. Obviously, with the scratch of Philip My Wine, but you got some big names in this race. You got the defending champion and Hunt Master. You've got Cruden Bay, you've got Awesome Bourbon, who's maybe one of the hottest horses on the grounds right now.
Absolutely.
So Awesome Bourbon's trying to follow in the footsteps of a pretty nice filly on yesterday's program.
Oh, yeah, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was a great day, of course, for little Teddy and the connections there. But first, I want to take a look back at just how the track played yesterday. And as you said, probably midway through the program, you said, boy, the inside is where you want to be. And it's interesting because yesterday on Ernie Perry's board from morning training, he thought that the track was a little more fair, but once again, it played to the inside.
Yeah, it changed. It really got back to the inside for sure on yesterday's card. And I still think for the most part, you wanted to be forwardly placed. Even the stalkers, they weren't too far out of it by any means. And favorites, they had a pretty good day at the office, but still, yet the average win payout was pretty nice, $17.08. And one horse that led to that was that great D1 at 30-1 that kicked off one of the multiple leg wagers there, the Light Pick 5, I think it was, at a big number. So the Devin Gittins barn back on track, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, they were cool, but only for a couple of weeks. And now things are starting to heat back up again. Now, this was the stake race yesterday, the Eternal Search. And what another explosive kick from Giant Teddy. I mean, this horse has been a real treat to watch this season. An easy winner of the Zadra Carta, and then coming back to win again today.
You just did a Jeffism.
What did I do?
You called little Teddy Giant Teddy.
Oh, I know I heard something.
That's my trick.
Man, why does that happen with this horse?
Well, they are siblings.
Yeah,
so,
I guess so.
And the name is very close, obviously, but... I got to give a lot of props to both Austin's and to Santino because I wasn't sure about the 2 turns, but they were both extremely confident. The horse was able to get 2 turns. And I wonder what they will do now. Like, do they put her away for the rest of the year? Do they try one more on the main track? I don't know exactly what the game plan is going to be with her for the rest of the year.
Well, they put 60 G's in their purse account yesterday and add that to 173 that she's made this season. So, I mean, there's a girl that's made some big money. In fact, let me just put my blinkers on here.
In her career
Lifetime, she's made $319 going into yesterday. So add another $60,000 to that.
Wow.
So almost $400,000.
What an ATM she has turned out to be.
What a nice horse. Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure the breeders are really happy with that too because they've made some coin off of her as well. Okay. Morning workouts.
Let's look.
What happened this morning? This is going to be a shocker for some of you who watch the show on a regular basis. Ernie listed the clock as a 2.5. That is the lowest that he has ever made it, saying it was extremely slower than normal. So when you see a work that catches his eye of 48 and 4, on a very slow track, that's got to be a pretty nice workout for Jokester.
And our age is maybe showing a little bit because you and I were like, Jokester, that name rings a bell.
Right.
That horse has run here before. So sure enough, we looked it up, and Jokester ran the plates, but recently he's been racing on the dirt surfaces down in the States, like a Thistle and stuff like that, but now back under the tutelage of Kevin Attard for the Wellings. And our good friend Ernie says the best betting race of the day is going to be race number 6, the Ontario Sired race for the babies.
He also says the outside he thinks is going to be the better place. Let's see if that actually materializes.
Yeah, let's.
Because again, yesterday, thinking it could be a little more fair, but it did play to inside again.
Yeah.
So who knows? The track in the morning is completely different than the track in the afternoon. First of all, it's freezing cold in the morning. It's dark out. Now the sun's had a chance to get onto the track. They've had a chance to work the track.
Exactly.
It will change.
Yeah, more grooming is done during racing than it is during work.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they only have the one break, right? So, okay, let's get into the card for the day today. 11 races in store for you. And we're going to start things off in race number 1 with maidens for $10,000, going a mile and a 16th, and you get a field of 7 in the opener on the program. I mean, the more you kind of look at it, the more it's a 2-horse race. I mean, you look at the 4, Professor Reload, in off of a second place effort, and then you look at Super Vinny in off of a second place finish as well from the Rick Hayashi barn.
So the inside joke that Elisa and I have is where Elisa rides, there's a horse named Vinny, who's a wonderful horse, and he's massive. So whenever I see Super Vinny, I'm like, Super Vinny!
Yeah.
So he's got a big shot in here, but I went towards Professor Reload in here because I thought that he ran against the bias last time out. We'll show you exactly what we mean. This was back on October the 4th. The inside was very, very good on this day, and this horse had an outside trip. And where's the winner? The winner's on the inside. This is a horse trained by, I believe, Theranos, who came out of this race running very well, Armino. And Armino's the one, gets his beautiful run up the inside. Meanwhile, we're on the far outside, covering a lot of ground, going against the grain. And Professor Reload gets the front, but then eventually gets passed here by a horse that just got a better trip and was favored on this day, if memory serves me correct. So not only do we run against the bias, we lose the favorite. The favorite had a better trip on that day. So I kind of think all those stars align for this horse to be a factor yet again in this spot. Does get picked off late, there's no question about that, but I think Professor Reload had a lot of things kind of going against him in here. So I'm going to go towards that one. You get the slight dropper there with Super Vinny. And the thing that I like about Super Vinny is that Shinigami reference all of a sudden. As that horse came out of that race.
That's right, yeah. So we saw that one back in the winner's circle, and Super Vinny will get the services of Kaveh Nichols, who's quietly had a very good season here once again.
Has he ever?
He kind of flies under the radar a little bit. But, he's had a stakes win this year. He always seems to do well, in either this barn, the Rick Hayashi barn, and the Phil Hall barn, and the Jamie Begg barn. Like, he rides for a little bit for everybody. Hey, don't forget, he rides a lot of horses too for barns like the Devin Gittins outfit as well. So, he just quietly goes about his business and picks up a lot of wins. Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him. Nice guy too. So we'll be watching for that in the opener on the program. Lots of 6s, lots of 4s on the card for the opener on the program here today. Let's go to our next topic, which is exacta.
Ooh, question mark.
That's why I said it that way. Exacta. And that is race number 2. Second half of the early double goes a mile and a 16th, the 25 non-winners of 3 with a field of 7. It's also where we kick off the $100,000 guaranteed pick 5. Now, what is the exacta possibility for you here in this race?
Well, I like the 7 adapted on top. If I were to play an exacta, I would use that one. Now, Just a Gem has a really good race reference, and that's Aristotle. Came back to run very well yesterday here at Woodbine. Jagger's got a gun we're going to see coming up a little bit later on. You've got a bunch of horses coming off of recent victories as well, so that's a bit of an encouraging sign in here. But I did give Adapted the slight nod just because of the rear classification. And you might remember Adapted last time out, they broke the latch and he was like leaning back in the gate, and then he went, and it kind of cost him a little bit, and he made up a little bit of ground on that day too. So he has to be a little bit more alert when he breaks from the gate in here. Now, Just a Gem, what do you make of the fact, because you're picking this horse on top, He runs that big number last time out. It's a current result, and yet they dropped down in class off that race.
Well, he had won for a quarter when facing non-winners at 2.
Yep.
And one of the main reasons I actually put him on the top spot is just because right now this barn is going very, very well. You know, we've been talking about it almost all week. You know, Katrine had a nice winner on the program. I think it was on the Thursday program. Made a horse hit the ticket. It was either that night or the next night. You know, they just, all of a sudden, things are starting to really go as planned, I think, for a barn that was off to a pretty slow start. And they have their superstar in today as well. So, you know, I find like when barns get on a roll, all that positive energy kind of feeds over from stall to stall to stall to stall. And now you start to be a little bit more confident on what you bring over to the front side. But I just like the drop here today for 23.5. It's a price tag the horse can win for.
I want to ask you about his Audex Minor. Like, can he
keep going?
Yeah, like his last 2 races have been so good.
Yeah, against 10 maidens and then against 15 non-2.
Yeah.
He's going up in price. I actually tossed in the Stu Simon horse, Good King Sam, for the second place spot instead because he beat Isaac Leo, and we both like Isaac Leo on today's card, who's going second start off of the claim, right?
Yeah, Isaac looks pretty good, so we'll get to that one coming up a little bit later on the card. But yeah, that second race, you know, there are all kinds of possibilities there to start off the pick 5.
Topic number 3 comes up in race number 5 on today's program, and that is Dream Trip. And this race is for the youngsters, the boys to compete in here. Maiden special weight, a mile and 70 yards. We had the girls go a mile and 70 yesterday, and we have a smaller field here now because there is a scratch of the 5. Wonderful Quality is a vet scratch from this race. You know, there's 3 horses in here that I think have the potential to give you a big effort here today. Prince Crest in off of a second place finish behind Dixie Law, who's a wonderful horse, and this horse raced against Big Time Boss as well and was right there with him. El Capo, who was a first-time starter that ran a big race back on September 28th, and even Appledorn. I mean, we haven't seen what we wanted to see, I think, from Appledorn, but the blinkers are going on today, and you know, who knows with this outfit sometimes.
And the reason why I'm picking this replay in regards to Prince Crest is because I wanted to kind of pick your brain about how you handicap this horse, because I thought this one got an absolute dream run up the inside. It's like, you know, sometimes when we do the harness races, the rail opens up for the horses that are maybe like 3rd or 4th because the leaders start to get a little bit tired. But look at this dream run up the inside. So I don't want to take anything away from the horse because the horse runs very, very well and finishes in 2nd. Loses Dixie Law. We all know how good Dixie Law is. But do you take anything away from the horse because the horse got a dream run in that race? Or do you look at it and say, you know what? It's all relative because the competition the horse was facing was so significant on that particular day.
I think both horses that this one's raced against, Big Time Boss and Dixie Law, are both the real deal.
I do too.
Right?
I do too.
But the reason I use the 3 in the top spot over the 2, and I would suggest, you know, definitely playing this as an exactor 2-3-3-2, is that El Capo came back and caught our clocker's eye with a 5/8 work on October the 19th in 101. So 101 and 3, I should say. So he's come back since racing. He's worked a couple more times. So and when you see him here, he has a really big presence when you see him.
He looks like a round horse.
Yeah, he looks like a horse who really wants to go around the 2 turns. Now, they do get Hernandez today as well, which is something that's kind of interesting because if you look at the stats, this barn doesn't use Hernandez.
Do you think it was maybe one of those situations where after the race an agent made a call and said we'd like to ride that one? I don't know.
Hard to say because I like Campos.
Yeah, so do I.
You know, but it's just something you have to pay attention to when the leading rider or one of the top riders here just goes to a barn that they don't normally ride for. They might be handicapping the race too. Like
I'm intrigued very much on those 2 horses. And Appledorn, maybe with the equipment change, that'll wake up the horse a little bit.
Exactly, because you can't discount Stu Simon.
Never.
You just can't.
No.
All right, let's go to the next topic. That is race number 6, and these are babies again. Now they're in the optional 40. Yesterday, the optional 40 for the girls was tough.
Yeah.
Very tough, and it was a long shot who got the win too. That was that Grady 1 horse for Devin Gittins and Slade Jones. $64.30 was the return on that one. Now, I find this one a little bit more simplified than yesterday's. I mean, You look at maybe Mad World with the big drop. That was a big drop. Maiden Special, wide open Maiden Special, down in for $40,000 with the blinkers going on and the rider switch over to Fukumoto. And then you look at Silent Lee, and I know this is a replay that we were excited to show you here today because this horse looked a little PO'd in the last race.
Looked a lot PO'd. This horse was not a happy camper on this day, and this is a big, powerful horse. And right now we're in last, and you know, I think a little bit green. I think is trying to lay in a little bit here, and Sophia's got her hands full right now at this portion of the race. And here she tries to, you know, just to wake him up a little bit and say, let's get off the rail a little bit.
She looks pretty ticked.
Yeah, well, he wants to do one thing and she wants to do another.
Exactly.
And we're going to show the Gallipo too, because it's almost like the light switch went off with him a little bit late. Now he's really starting to run here. Like, he's starting to put in a good rally here at this portion of the race. But just watch the gallop out here. And I just love the way that he didn't want to stop. He just keeps on going, keeps on going. So just watch it here. So right now, she's going to have to put the brakes on a couple different times. There's one, and that's going to happen yet again. He's going to tuck towards the inside. She's going to have to do it yet again. He has a massive gallop out in here. He gets more ground to work with, going from 5 out to 7 furlongs. I mean, she had her hands full the entire time with that horse. So he went on to our watch list right off that race. And then, as Lisa said, subsequently to make it on the clock report, that's a positive as well. And I do think, judging by the way that he looks, I don't think 5 furlongs is nearly long enough for him.
Did you watch the feature that our communications department did about Don McRae when he was closing in on the 800 wins?
I tend
Did you
not
watch
to watch
that?
stuff if Donnie's on it.
I watched it, and I knew who this horse was right away, because if you go back and you watch that, or you did watch it, he's doing like, oh, here I'm feeding lunch, you know, that kind of a thing. And there's a horse that they get to, and he goes, well, this one we stay back from, you know? And I'm like, that's gotta be this horse, because he had all kinds of attitude in that race. Now, Donnie did say to us the other day that he has been gelded since. Probably a good idea for the safety of everybody in that outfit. I mean, I've been around horses my whole life, and there have been a couple that you have to kind of go at, you know, and cross yourself before you go in the stall. You know, there's pylons out in front of stalls for a reason, because some of them just reach out and they will come and get you.
You know, I think we take that for granted sometimes. I'm glad you brought that up, because here's an 1,100-pound animal, and like, you're going to lose that battle.
Oh you
know, so you got to be in sync as best as you can. So. I don't think it was really Sophia's fault last time, but I just think that was a very powerful horse.
I agree, and a horse that's. He wants to be driving the bus, and that's not necessary. You know, one thing we always say to the kids when we're teaching riding lessons is, you have to be the boss. You can't let the horse do what he wants to do. You have to tell him what you want to do, and that's kind of the case with some of these green beans that we have racing here today. Okay, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will take a look at this year's edition of the Overskate.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
This is the biggest race in the world. Pinch me, I think I'm dreaming.
They're off in the Woodbine World Cup.
And they're into the Tbred. Two of the great racehorses in the world. Giant Killer, by name and by nature. A race for the ages.
Awesome Bourbon pushing in second as they corner to level. Awesome Bourbon trying to get by Humpmaster in the stretch. Humpmaster on the inside. Awesome Bourbon the outer. Then came Town Cruise Society's Thunder. Humpmaster holding on. Awesome Bourbon, Town Cruise Society's Thunder up the inside. Humpmaster narrowly joining as Awesome Bourbon and Society's Thunder. Humpmaster, Awesome Bourbon. Humpmaster holding. Humpmaster wins the overskate. Earned every single step of it. Society's Thunder and Awesome Bourbon.
That was the day that Robert Geller almost jumped out of the sixth floor window.
correct.
He was so excited that one of his faves, Huntmaster, got a big stakes win that day.
Yeah, that was, and it's cool that we have the top three back in this race.
We sure do.
And the thing is now, the horse on the outside there was Awesome Bourbon. He's never been better than he is right now. I think he's 20% better than what he was in that replay we just looked at.
And I would assume that Eddie Catrine is very happy that the race is going to stick and stay on the inner turf course here today, because, you know, we weren't too sure about it going into the weekend. Jeff, just ourselves, we weren't sure about it, but we were on it yesterday. We're back on it again today. Now, Huntmaster has since changed barns numerous times since that stakes win for Buntain. He's been with DeRusso, he's been with Borsk, and now he's over in the Hinkson outfit. So he's changed hands many times since. I just feel like Cruden Bay's experience might get the better of Awesome Bourbon. Even though I want to put Awesome Bourbon in the top spot, I just feel like the fact that Cruden Bay is coming out of a race where he was only beaten 3 lengths to Simcoe, you know, makes him the guy to beat.
Well, even in the King Eddie, when he lost by a length to horse that's now going to the Breeders' Cup and gassing me up.
Yep.
So he is a really fun horse. He doesn't dance a lot of dances these days, but he shows up more often than not. And I looked up his lifetime stats. He's run just once on this inner turf course and he won. So I kind of like the fact that he has handled that in the past as well. So listen, he, from a class point of view, is the horse to beat here. So do you go towards the hot horse, who is Awesome Bourbon, or do you go towards Cruden? Oh my gosh, look at this picture. That is adorable. Cruden Bay says, I love you, Robert.
See, that one's not like the Lee horse
No,
over there.
no.
I don't think you'd be cuddling up with that one, but
That's a great picture.
very good. And here's his groom as well, Murdana, with Cruden Bay. Now, the more we kind of talk about this race, and the more you look at it, and you think to yourself, okay, let's say Cruden Bay doesn't fire today. You know, is Rapid Test a serious contender in here for Catherine Day Phillips? You know, is Society's Thunder a possible upsetter here in this spot today? I mean, Society's Thunder, he dances in all the dances and he tries every single time.
And I think No More Options is really good right now, too. I think it took him a while, but I like to start back on August 23rd. I liked his race last time out against Maps of Breeze. And, you know, you're right about Society's Thunder. He all he does is run his heart out each and every time out.
Well, we've been talking a lot about attitudes on today's program, and Chris Lohman, who works upstairs in communications, had a chance to get caught up with Eddie Catrine and ask him about the attitude for Awesome Bourbon.
In the morning, he's great. I mean, he doesn't give any issues at all. He just, you know, he's there in the stall. He's a colt, but he doesn't act like a colt. He just acts like a really good horse.
And what is he like when he comes over on game day? Is he focused?
He's focused. He's relaxed. He's focused. He's concerned what he's doing, but he got his game shoes on once he goes into that gate.
When you watch him race, what's the most impressive part of what he does?
When I watch him race, I mean, he's fast. I mean, if you watch him at Gulfstream, like, if you let him go, he'll go as fast as he can, and he won't stop that easy. But I noticed his last race where Raphael kind of just let him relax a little bit. He sits off the pace, and he just come charging. That is new for me, because I know he always likes to go to the engine. So I think he's growing up and developing to be a nice horse.
Yeah, we hear so many trainers say that, like the horses just completely changed their running style, and they did it either on a quirky, it was just something quirky, like they didn't get out of the gate good, and then next thing you know, they want to be horses that come from off the pace. As they get older, they start to change their ways too. They let the youngsters go up and do the heavy work on the front end, and then they come with their big run.
I think that'll benefit him a lot in the long run too, because if you're always the target day in, day out, that can become tiresome. That's tough.
Yeah.
But last time he was able to shut off a little bit, which was significant.
You know what else is interesting too? If you talk to every single one of the trainers that have horses entered in this race here today, I think they'd all say the same thing. These horses all want to be racehorses.
Yeah,
They
and
enjoy being racehorses.
It's a tip of the cap to the
Yeah.
Ontario Sire program because you're some of the best horses on the ground.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. So that is the feature for the day today. The Overskate will go as race number 8, and it'll also kick off the late pick 4. Over we go to race number 9, a maiden special weight going 7/8 of a mile. This race features a filly taking on the boys here today. We do not know how to say her name, and I don't even think we can take a shot at it. So we'll just refer to this horse as the Irish bred,
Yes.
the one horse, the Tony Gadalero horse. But this is actually a sibling to Fenor.
Yep.
And around these parts, we all know who Fenor is. So she's the lone first-time starter in this group, but I don't think she's hooked a really tough field for this maiden special weight.
I would agree. And she's also a half to a Group 1 winner that made 3.6 million Japan dollars, that being Deep Brilliance. So I kind of like that a little bit too. I just wonder if maybe she wants more ground. I like Kamasi. I just think the horse has been facing tough ones like Borealis Trail, Runaway Again. I mean, obviously some very, very good horses. Accelerando is going to get onto the synthetic for the very first time. How that horse handle it. Trebasis. Larry Attard's got a sharp eye for Clayton horses.
I love one. Well,
He's
Larry's
got
got
a
one every year, boy.
Sharp eye.
Yep.
And then you got Prime Edge, who they've elected to Gelt as well. So.
Okay, good news. We found out how to say this horse's name, courtesy of our producer, Mike, because, you know, Robert wants to know. You know, we all want to know how to say it.
I think I know the first part. The first part is Ethel, is it
Yes,
not?
it's Ethel Fled.
Oh, Ethel Fled. That's easy.
So it's easy. It means noble beauty.
Oh,
So
named after
let's wait
you.
until she. Well, hey, maybe back in the day. But yeah, we will. We'll see her when she comes
Ethel
over and
Fled.
find out if she fits that name as well.
She's bred to run all day long, so I am not surprised her debuting in a 7 furlong race.
But you know what? You know what wouldn't surprise me in this race would be if Larry was able to win with
I'm
this
with you.
horse, because every year Larry Attard, former jock, Hall of Famer, you know, will claim one horse.
Yep.
Last year, he made one of the greatest claims ever.
The
Remember
Augusta
that
horse.
one? He took Safari. Oh, I'm on it. Anyways, it was
Took that one.
Safari
We also
something or
claimed the
other.
Augustan one.
That's right.
That they claimed back,
That's right.
and he made all that money.
And he won and got, and the horse got claimed back, and you know they had a fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know he's been trying all year long. Just you know, either got outshook or
Yeah.
it didn't work out for him. But yeah, we'll wish him all the best of luck in race number 9. Let's go to the 11th, which is the final race on the program. It's where we play the Jackpot High Five, the carryover, growing more than 47,000, almost 48,000 to be honest. We are scratching the main track only horse, Lost Ark. We'll wrap up the weekend on the turf with a race at 1 mile and a 16th. It is an allowance event here. If they're in for tags, it's 50 Gs. And here we find the likes of what we got. Jayhawk for Cassie. We got English Actor, who comes in after taking a shot in the Grade 1 Canadian International. You got Sedbury's Ghost, the winner of this year's Plate Trial, who's looking to get things rolling again. And, you know, lots of different horses in here that you could certainly make a case for.
Salty. That's what I'm going to describe this race as. And Malibu Mambo's been entered 3 times this week and finally gets a chance to run, which is great. I'm going to go towards Skyro. I just think has been facing a lot tougher, so I'm going to go in that one's direction. But this is a spread race for me all day long. You and Ron going towards Jayhawk, and I love the way Jayhawk ran off the bench. Back on August the 2nd. In fact, hasn't run a bad race yet.
He hasn't run a bad race yet. And what I like about him is that reference to Awesome Bourbon.
And Niagara Skyline.
And Niagara Skyline.
Yeah.
Niagara Skyline went down to the States. He won a 50 down there. He got claimed, so we won't be having him back here. But if Awesome Bourbon happens to give you what we think he could give you, which is a dynamic performance here this afternoon, then that's another nice reference for the 8 in this race. But yeah, we'll wrap things up on the grass. Any other points there, Jeff, for the last?
Just tricky. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
It might be our last turf race of the
It
year. I
might
know there's
be.
a turf race scheduled
Yeah.
for Thursday, but if you looked at the forecast for next week, it looks cold and it looks wet.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. I think fall is here, unfortunately. Yep, but next Friday, we have Breeders' Cup to look forward to. Next Saturday, Breeders' Cup. You know, there's just so much fun stuff coming up next weekend. We just wrapped up Breeders' Crown at Woodbine Mohawk as well. Let's get a look at our plays of the day. Starting first with Jeff, what you got today?
Lots of fours, apparently. Professor Reload in the opener. My multi-leg single goes off the claim for Cassie, that being Catherine's Gem. My best bet's going to be Silent League coming up in race number 6, and my price play is Kamasi coming up in race number 9. I think you have lots of ones on your plays.
Do I?
today.
I do, yeah. So I've got Catherine's Gem, same as you. El Capo, this is a baby that I'm interested in watching today. Isaac Leo, second start off with a claim for Ron Sadler. He ran a heck of a race last start out. And then Ethel Fled, I'm going to take a shot on this filly. Going against the boys in race number 9. We have some picks from upstairs as well. Our Woodbine TV prods used Good King Sam.
That's a good pick.
Yep, in race number 2. Hard to Capture is a top selection for Doug McPherson, and the sexiest horse on the backstretch, Jagger's Got a Gun, is the top selection from Ron Gierkink as well. Plays of the day are done. Now it's time for some clocker horses, and there are 2 clocker horses on the list, and they're both 2-year-olds.
Okay.
First one is the horse with the biggest head on the backstretch, and that is the boss, El Capo. So he worked, now you might remember this, because he actually made it onto the morning report as well that day, I think. He worked in 101 and 3 for Steve Flint, and he looks like a horse who wants to go long.
I agree. And then you got Silent Lee, who I think will really appreciate the stretch out and distance. And I remember when we heard the information from Clocker Ernie, I went to ask Donnie, I said, do you often work horses in sets of 3? And he goes, no, that like very rarely.
Yeah,
and
it's
I worked
weird.
in 3, in a 3-pack with those 3 horses did, so.
All right, well, there you go. It's something, you try something different, I guess.
Yep.
But especially with a baby, you're going to kind of teach them to go with some of those older racehorses. So there's some good teachers in that group. 11 races in store for you this afternoon, including the Overskate with a really good group. And that'll kick off our late pick 4 on the afternoon's program. But first, it's the opener in 20.